Before I was published, when I was just a reader, I constantly heard from people within the publishing industry that publishing is not a meritocracy, and often good books go overlooked and awful books get popular. And I knew this was true, but there's a part of me that didn't really believe it. And I genuinely felt that if a book was good enough, it would find its audience. Now, once I got into publishing, wrote my own book, even more so, I kept being told publishing is not a meritocracy. And I'd hear all these stories of people saying that they know books that were really amazing that didn't get an agent, or that went on submission and didn't get bought. But I kind of refused to believe that, which I think I had to refuse to believe to some extent because I really wanted my own book to have success. So even as I was struggling getting an agent, I said to myself, this book is a really good book, so it's going to get an agent. And that proved to be true. I did get an agent. And then when we went on submission, and at a time where I really wasn't sure a book like mine was going to get picked up, I kept telling myself, but this book is really good, so it's going to sell. And it did. It got a book deal at auction, a 6-figure deal with a great publisher. Now, my opinion on this changed as my own book came out because it really did not do so well. And I saw that it wasn't getting a lot of push from the publisher, and I kept telling myself, but it's such a good book, so it's going to find its audience anyways. And that's just not what happened. And I think that there are 3 main categories of the way that books get pushed and how that plays out for them. So I think there are, first of all, the ones that get a ton of push. And so many people read them because it developed enough hype that even if it's not that great, it finds enough people that love it to help it spread. Then there are ones that get a strong push, so people know it exists, but it's missing something and it doesn't catch on. And so even though people knew it existed, it still didn't catch on and break out. And then there's this third category of books that, because they get so little push and so little people know about them in the first place, it doesn't matter how good they are. If people aren't reading it, they can't tell other people about it. It can't catch on with word of mouth, and it just doesn't get enough of a critical mass to ever break out, no matter how good it is. Now, I think my book is in that third category. I could be wrong. Honestly, I could be wrong that my book's just not that good, and that's why it didn't catch on. But I'd like to believe it really is that good. And just people don't know it exists. All of its trade reviews were really, really positive. Majority of reader reviews have been really high, right? My average Goodreads rating is quite good. My book didn't do so well in hardcover, partially because Barnes & Noble didn't take a lot of copies. And I think that that's part of why people just didn't know it existed, because no booksellers or book boxes or book clubs took much interest in it. But it is coming out in paperback, and my publisher believes it's a good book. And so they gave it a new cover and a new title for the paperback release, hoping that maybe it would find more of an audience, but it has a new lease on life if bookstores decide to champion it this time. And I've heard of that happening, right? I've heard of Barnes & Noble not wanting to stock a hardcover, but then when the paperback came out, they made it their book club of the month book and suddenly became a New York Times bestseller, right? So I still believe that there is some hope for my book. And if you want to help work that miracle, then please pre-order my paperback Academy of Muses so that bookstores and Barnes & Noble and my publisher know that people really want it. Spread the word, and let's try to see if this time I can get a critical mass of an audience enough to actually find out whether people could like it or not.